Hi everybody! My name is Michelle the Bookworm, and I know it's been a minute, but I'm really excited to be back. I've kind of been busy with, I'm currently an educational assistant, so I've been kind of really busy and putting myself into doing work for the kids, but I've found some free time. I was able to read a really cool book that I would like to share with you today. So the book, I'm currently reading this book for my Goodreads Book Club that I will 100% actually post a review on this month. I will do that. But the book of the month is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So this is a YA mystery novel about four high school students who become murder suspects. The creator of the school's gossip column winds up dead, and the suspects were not only all in the same room as him when he died, but they were also all stars in the next episode of the app. So this is the author Karen McManus. This is her debut novel. She has a bachelor's BA in English and a MA in journalism, which definitely shows in this novel. There's a lot of journalistic tidbits in this novel, especially when the people are investigating. So that's something that I kind of liked about this. Other thing, so first I'd like to start off, I usually start off these reviews on a positive note, talking about what I liked about this book. What I liked first off was the theme of this book. Each of them has a secret, and this book is about living with those secrets when they're out in the open. One thing I find interesting is that it talks about shame without calling it shame necessarily. They call it guilt. They call it, they call it guilt, which is shame's shinier cousin. But I think that that's something that's really, that kind of can resonate with a lot of different young adult readers. I also really liked the writing style. McManus, this book is written from 4 different perspectives from each of the students. So the main characters are Bronwyn. She's the brain. She's the brainiac. She's like a mathlete. Addie's the beauty. She's like prom queen, that type of thing. Nate, who's a notorious criminal. He's getting in trouble for everything. Right now he's on probation for a drug charge, so he's got things going for him. And then there's Cooper, who's the all-star baseball athlete. So each person has their own different personalities, and it definitely shows within the writing. I feel like when McManus writes about this character, they kind of take on, like, she kind of takes on a little bit of their personality, and it definitely shows up within the writing. It has a very, like, Breakfast Club feel to it, which I found interesting, without it being a complete knockoff. Obviously, these kids, like, it's Breakfast Club in the fact that they all are, like, from completely different aspects of the school and different walks of life, and they all, like, kind of come together. Each person has their own problems that they're dealing with prior to this event and in the wake of this event, particularly family issues and being ostracized, and especially being ostracized by their peers, because now everyone thinks that they're murderers. So another thing that I really liked about this novel, and that I kind of touched on a little bit, is companionship. These are a group of kids who never would have hung out together if they weren't forced into the situation. I mean, we've got like the athlete who cares about baseball. We've got the beauty queen who has her own issues, but she never talks about it. We've got the mathlete nerd who's like super like in her own world, and then you've got the criminal who's dealing with his own issues. And they just never would have come together. Like, they were the least suspecting people to get together if this didn't happen. So they work together, and they even become friends, which, like, throughout this whole ordeal, because nobody else knows what they're going through. They all, like, all these kids, you're believing from their perspective that they're all innocent throughout the entire novel. And each person has a stereotype put on them, but this book challenges that concept and imagines kind of like what would happen if those stereotypes were unmasked, and it just shows that underneath all those stereotypes, everyone's just kind of a little messed up. So those were things that I really, really appreciated about this book. The biggest thing that I didn't like about this book, which is really unfortunate, is the ending. I honestly I don't like the ending at all. I didn't like the epilogue and the last couple of pages. It feels like it was meaningless filler drama involving Nate and Bronwyn. I won't go further into that because I want you to actually read the book and I don't want any more spoilers. But there's meaningless filler drama, and it also made it seem, it ended with them, and that kind of made it seem as if they were the main characters, which they weren't. All four of them are the main characters. So that kind of like rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. I would have much rather had the ending be with the four of them talking about how they're going to move forward with their lives. There's also a very unexpected antagonist. The surprise antagonist happens at the very end of the novel, and I didn't like that because there weren't really any hints about this person being the antagonist throughout the novel. It's kind of like a bombshell that was dropped and completely out of nowhere. So those are two things that I really kind of like. Again, that was the ending. So those two things kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. But overall, I would, despite the ending, I would give this a 4 out of 5. It was a very captivating, quick read. I mean, I breezed through it, like that. And the climax was surprising, but not in an unprovoked way. It made me want to flip through, and this doesn't necessarily involve the main antagonist, but the climax of the books is very surprising, and it made me want to flip through the book again and see if I could pick up any clues, which I did. So keep an eye out for those clues. Yeah, it was a very, very good book, very quick read, and like it definitely made me really attached to these characters. I like them all. I do have a favorite, but I like them all in different ways, and you really get to know these characters and kind of watch them even develop a little bit throughout the novel. So go ahead, feel free to check this out, and if you have read this, One of Us is Lying, feel free to leave a comment in the link in the place down below. Anyway, I don't have an end of the video question this time. I don't have one prepared. So I guess my question could be, I don't know, what other YA murder mystery novels have you read that you actually liked? I'm trying to expand my horizons, and would love any and all book recommendations. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Read on!